Hello, welcome to Big Data, how it impacts JetBlue. It's the Week 1 assignment, Big Data, how it impacts JetBlue. My name is MichaelBray. This is for Business 530 Enterprise Data Management course. Big Data, what is it? Big Data is a term that describes data sets and how they are related to a business. A large volume of data that comes from multiple sources, which becomes a data set, is used over time to help decision-making processes within businesses. There are 4 key characteristics that define big data, and they're listed below. First is volume. That's the amount of data which is coming in from various sources. The next is velocity, the rate at which data is flowing into these resources. Variety, the different kinds of data that come into the business. And veracity, the quality of data that comes in. Depicted on the right of the screen is a figure from Big Data and Analytics Hub of IBM, and it breaks down what I'm talking about. So you can see in the top left corner, the volume of data is into the bytes. So the zettabyte, a petabyte, a terabyte. There's tons of data that come in, and we bring that in at JetBlue. From all our passengers, our customers, everybody that flies with us. The variety, for examples, these can be used from different social media platforms. In JetBlue terms, it can be the app that's used, the booking sites that are used to book our flights, JetBlue's actual website. Definitely different varieties that are around. The velocity, during different peak seasons of the year, you're going to have different foot traffic. You're going to have a lot more volume of people coming in, and it's going to be at a faster rate. So many different connections all around, and so many data points at which we're sensing and picking up information. And veracity, we want to make sure that the quality of the data coming in is accurate. Next, the challenges posed to big data. There are many challenges facing big data, and amongst them, what JetBlue are facing in providing an ability within an EDM system is to sync data across multiple sources and being able to extract information from the data in the data integration phase. First off, syncing across data sources is important because when data is migrated from another source and imported, copies or duplicates may occur due to the dynamic changes in flight scheduling. What data may be accurate at 12:05 a.m. Eastern Time may be different if a flight has been delayed, with the destination being in the Pacific time zone. That's one example of how syncing up data across time zones is important in terms of synchronizing data across multiple sources. Extracting information from data in the big data integration is reliant on time and currency of status in the data as well. Integrating such data from an asynchronous position can cause confusion with the end user employees employing the BI tools to display them to the customers flying with our airline. Big data warehouse and architecture. A big data warehouse is an architecture for an organization's data management that practices traditional data warehouse architectures and modern big data technologies. Doing so allows for the goal of providing an in-depth and fast analysis across a broad range of information sources and types. Analytics can certainly run exclusively on big data repositories or on an enterprise data repository. However, the combination of the two kinds of repositories forming into a unified data architecture that distinguishes what a big data warehouse and the importance of it. There are best practices regarding big data, and there's many of them. These are the ones that I feel are important. Defining the big data goals for the business. This means understanding the business requirements, and it's the most important step before leveraging big data and performing analytics on it. As a company, we have to prioritize what exactly we're looking at and what exactly results we're looking for in the department. Once we can narrow that down, our scope becomes smaller and we better focus our efforts. If we collect the data from everything and everywhere that we have access to, we'll overload our IT and our BI departments. Next up is assess and strategize. Throughout the process, we should be checking in our IT department and how they are interacting with data sources they are tapping into. Identifying if the goals and scope are being met, what we established from the first listed practice. Also, now that we have made the requirements on what we bring in, we must ensure the accuracy of what we're bringing in is of high standard. Constant communication has to be a thing. So in continuous communication and assessment, we must make sure that we are hitting our milestones, effectively communicating new goals up and down the chain of command, and understanding and deciding where our inefficiencies lack and addressing the problems as we see fit. Our technology requirements have to be up to date. We always have to be looking to the future. So as in terms of data as it transforms within our society, the fields and columns it generates inside of our data structure also transforms. We have to make sure that the computing power and the tools we're using today are going to be acceptable and on par with the competition for tomorrow. Data experts in this field of big data are at a premium right now. We have to ensure our staffing is up to speed on all the software requirements and all the data tools that are available. We also must ensure compliance in doing so, and that leads to access. We have to make sure that everybody has the proper access within the company that is at the proper level, and to ensure that our sensitive data from our customers is kept safeguarded. Our data team can't do their job if they don't have access. We don't want everyone to have access to everything, so applying a proper filter is also key. That leads me into enforcing data governance. To do so, that means setting up a set of rules and policies regarding data within a company. Labeling who's accountable for data assets helps to construct who's responsible for accuracy and consistency with the sensitive information. Creating policy to safeguard the information of our customers is part of our regulatory requirements and requires that all employees are held accountable. From the figure below, we define the policies and we describe them, and we apply appropriate objectives. Then we classify what type of information we are safeguarding, which drives enforcement. Next, we assess how the policy has been implemented, conform it to policy definition, and lastly, we must monitor and review the steps we have in place when necessary. Kimball's Kimball's dimensional modeling. Taking into consideration how our company JetBlue imports massive amounts of data from multiple sources and complexity of the data, Kimball's DM is ideal. With data such as flight times, ticket prices, seating arrangements, classes of seating, reward programs, and ratings of experiences are all some examples of data sets in which we process. To do that in a normalized setting would be too difficult. The data modeling allows us for a much more efficient path for us to be on. We understand data easier by grouping coherent business categories or dimensions. When we query the data, it becomes a much easier process to run query because the framework in a DM allows for data to be more predictable. And this method allows for better scalability and unexpected data that comes in to be implemented and analyzed faster with the growth of our company. Kimball's dimensional modeling is a better approach in terms of how data is structured and how we can model and produce efficient information from it, more so than a normalized data structure would be. In conclusion, when discussing EDM plans, it's imperative that big data be met with the proper examination and analysis of how it will impact the company. Having access to the data is an amazing capability in today's world, but addressing where it comes from, how much we bring in, how accurate it is, and ultimately, how we implement it, is the most important feature of big data. Thank you very much.